So how much should you pay for a tax attorney? Well, attorneys typically charge in one of three ways: hourly for their time when they're providing services, on a fixed or flat fee basis, or on a contingency basis. Now, specifically in tax law, we are not allowed to provide any services based on a contingency basis. And the reason is because we potentially now have a vested interest in the outcome of the case. And if we want to hold back documents or not provide all the information to the IRS or the state government to get a better result, there's now an incentive to do that, and potentially a conflict of interest. So for tax cases, we're not allowed to charge on a contingency basis. So typically it's done on an hourly basis. And when you have a complex case, there's a lot of facts that have to be siphoned through and legal research to interpret what's going on, so we understand how to maneuver around this case to get a good result for the client. And of course, always being honest and truthful to the government, it's going to take a little time. Here's a couple suggestions that will help you out. First, at the beginning of the case, ask the attorney to provide an estimate. And estimates are merely that. It's what our opinion is at the beginning of the case, what we think the case will cost based upon the available facts we have at that moment. Now, things can change because we might uncover some facts that either you knew or you didn't know that might increase the value or the cost of the case. There might be some complexities that we didn't know about that we're going to have to resolve. And we know that this is going to be asked by IRS or state of California. We want to make sure we resolve it in your favor to properly defend you. Other areas that can increase the cost of your case if you have an expert that needs to be hired. So typically in criminal cases, we will hire a CPA under what we call a covell letter. And that allows that the CPA is providing work to the law firm or to the attorney under the attorney-client privilege. So it's protected. The IRS cannot get that information typically. They can't summon it, they can't subpoena it, and it's protected so that you can freely disclose that information to your attorney. Other things that can increase the cost of your case, for instance, are other expenses for other services, such as copy services. And I know it sounds a little weird, but we had a criminal case where we were representing a client in an audit, and all of a sudden, IRS, FBI, ATF, Postal Inspector, and a couple other government agencies basically had a search warrant and a seizure warrant, and they went to the client's office and seized 40,000 pages of records, things that we really didn't know about and we needed to get. So we had to hire a copy company that went to the IRS's office, couldn't remove the records, but could scan them at the IRS's offices, and we took that information. Now we had a better idea of the evidence that the government had and how we're going to protect the client. The cost of scanning 40,000 pages over a week was about $20,000. It was a significant cost that we didn't anticipate, that nobody really anticipated until the government decided to take action and have a search and seizure warrant. So these are some of the things. Now, if you want to have a better idea, a better handle over your case, here's a couple tips for you. Speak with your attorney regularly and tell them, look, I'd like to have an idea of how this case is progressing. So possibly mid-month of each month, you could say, provide me with what your WIP is, your work in progress, and tell me how much available time I have maybe on the 15th of every month. So if you're in March and you hire the attorney maybe March 5th, mid-month say, hey, shoot me an email, tell me how much we've spent in dollars and expenses, and then you'll have a better handle. So you don't get an unexpected large bill at the end of the month. And not necessarily the attorney wants to do that, but there just might be a lot of work and there might be some fast action needs to be handled, whether it's a levy that needs to be released from your bank account. You want them to resolve the case, but I can understand that you also want to have a handle on the expenses. So have them shoot you an email and make sure there's a lot of clarity and a lot of communication. That'll probably resolve that issue. I'm John Milikowski, founder of Milikowski Tax Law. I hope this information was valuable for you.